Earth signs Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. This is your cosmic weather forecast for the week of November 16th, 2020. And this week is not much different than what we have been experiencing throughout much of 2020, which is intense and pressure filled and putting a lot of weight and pressure onto Earth signs. There's a lot of weight that Earth signs have been carrying for us this year, and there's more of that this week. If you would like to see the rest of this video, please check out my YouTube channel. The full-length video is there, and let's talk about it. So, Mercury travels to depths previously unknown, bringing messages or a communication that disrupts some of your foundational security. This could manifest in real life in a way that heightens a sense of financial instability. So for some of you, a piece of information could be in the form of like literally receiving a bill or getting an email, asking you to settle something up or pay your portion or something along those lines. And I want to say it's not that you forgot about it, it's that you misunderstood something about how you were going to be responsible for this fee or something like that. Sorry about that. Running out of battery. I got distracted. I need to come back. Let me just reread this last line. This could manifest in real life in a way that heightens a sense of financial instability. Okay, so receiving some information and then learning that the plan that you had for how you were going to use whatever sort of money is in your bank account at this time probably cannot be done how you thought. Like the way that you planned to use your resources, I want to say over the next month or moon cycle, yes, is being affected by this piece of information that you receive, like an awareness about a contract or an awareness about a bill or a contract, something like that. Okay, so it's coming through differently for some of you. For some of you, it's feeling more like related to romance or life partners. But here's sort of the last of what I said about that. Mercury moves quickly. The Scorpio sting of receiving the message will subside quickly as well. So once you get clear on how you'll regain a sense of financial security, you will be feeling like healed. The pain will go away. You might still be annoyed that you misunderstood something, or you might be annoyed that you can't do your plan. But once you know, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to move this thing over to next month and then switch, and I'll work overtime next weekend and this will be resolved. Something like that. You can pretty quickly and easily strategize a way to deal with this new thing. And once you identify like, oh, I didn't understand that about the contract, but that makes so much more sense now because it was seeming like a strangely good value. Or just recognizing that you made an error in forgetting that you had this bill to pay. Could be as simple as that as well. Once you clear up your part and take accountability, you're free. And the annoyance will subside pretty quickly once you just know what you're going to do. Okay. For some, this comes in the form of learning something or hearing something from your romantic partner or interest. It's not necessarily someone you've been partnered with for years, although for some of you, it's like someone you've been living with for more than a decade, someone who you would say that you know really well, and what you learn or what they share with you. So it's communication incoming, surprises you and stings, leaves you feeling unsteady and insecure when it comes to the foundations of your relationship. Or even, it's not even just that, it's something like this dealing with this idea that you never really truly know someone. That might pop into your head. And it's true, we're not in anybody else's head. Ask for clarity from your partner or interest and be honest if your feelings are hurt. So just being really clear with the person, like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that. And I'm feeling strangely upset by learning this information. And part of why I'm so upset is just because I didn't know this. And it's really hard for me. Sharing that really openly and being vulnerable about it is the key to dealing with it. And then lastly, considering what this means about what might surprise your partner or interest about you if they were to receive communication or information about you. And that's a great point for reflection. So just to consider, like, oh, if my partner knew that I had been hiding this piece of information, and maybe you're not hiding it so much as just not sharing, and you've never shared it for a decade. And so by the time they learn about it, it's like, what? So is there anything like that on your end that would surprise them and create instability? And then consider, for your part, would you like to clear that up? I'm not saying you have to. Would you like to? Would it feel better if you did? It's an honest question. So getting really specific here with the signs, Taurus, there is some definite oppositional energy with the sign of Aries or people who are Mars dominant. Also oppositional energy with the sign of Aquarius. And that is because the planet Uranus is moving through your sign and creating some havoc. Okay, like this is earthquaking energy and really shifting the what you thought you valued, what you thought felt secure, what your concept of value is being shifted. And you yourself are being shifted by this energy too. But what might be happening is Aquarian energy could be really triggering or aggravating for you. Virgo and Gemini, because their ruler is Mercury and the planet Mercury is moving in opposition to your sign right now, this could be creating some difficulty with Mercury type people, so Geminis and Virgos, or also Mercury type themes, challenges with communicating. For you, having difficulty getting your message across, like I seem to be having some trouble with forming sentences all of a sudden. So that could be a challenge that you're faced with and could bother you. Well, what do you do to deal with this? Where can you get some relief and some help? And I think turning to Pluto. Now, interestingly, with Scorpio in opposition to your sign, this is kind of not guaranteed to feel good. Not guaranteed to feel good, but I promise it could be really effective. And that is surrendering to the transformational energy of Pluto and letting Pluto transform you. You who are asking for the world to change because you can see that the change is needed because the world is fucked up. Please, I beg of you, show us how it's done. I enthusiastically ask you to shift something about yourself that could benefit from change, and do it and do the work, leaning into transformation. You get some help with Saturn, and I'm thinking that that feels like a boost to your ability to assert boundaries, healthy boundaries, so that people who are not good for you, who you know are not good for you, are kept outside of the boundary. And a boundary of like saying no when you actually need to rest. Even if other people think it's too much rest, you are entitled to whatever it is that you need, and you know what that is, right? Okay. Lastly, getting help from Jupiter. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and the moon is currently moving through Sagittarius. And what I like about this energy is tapping into sort of an intuition on in the spiritual sense, and getting some help from that and letting it help you, letting it guide you, asking perhaps for some help from whatever higher power is resonant for you, and being like, hey, I need a little help following the signs. Can you be a little more clear? Capricorn. Capricorn, Capricorn. Whoo. Okay, Capricorn. It's been a doozy in 2020, and this is still true. You may be encountering some challenges with Libran energy, with Aries energy, and with Gemini and Virgo as well. I'm leaving Aquarius out of this. I think Aquarius is neutral or helpful for Capricorn. I'm going to actually take that back. Not neutral, I'm going to stick with helpful. Aquarian energy is really supportive of the transformation that's being asked of Capricorn at this time. We're asking Capricorn, or the energy is asking Capricorn through the movements, the planetary movements of Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto. With Saturn having been conjunct, and now is even still near Pluto in the sign, your own sign of Capricorn, where Saturn lives, it's like we are remodeling Capricorn and Capricorn type themes, which are governments, larger systems, rulers, like even CEOs, corporations, societal issues getting revamped. And so on the personal level, being open to that transformation and using Aquarian energy to understand where the shifts need to be made, where life was not working before. Not working well before, even if it was working, right? One of the lessons here that is coming through really strongly through the experience we're having as we respond to attempting to control the coronavirus is how very little investment the people of the United States have made into their health and into the collective health. That's really being highlighted. And that's another area where you can see it play out on the collective level and then inquire about how it could be affecting you personally as a Capricorn who is going through this in a personal way with the collective. You can get some help, not just from the Aquarius disruptor vibes, but from Pisces and visualizing something new. I've said this before. This is about visualizing something we have not experienced yet. Not looking to the past history of the United States for when things were great. They weren't great for everyone. They were great for a handful of people. Things are still great for a handful of people. We don't need to go back to nothing. No, we've never had it. It's about picturing the greatest, most beautiful expression of humanity. What could that look like? Picture it. Even you picturing it helps us and helps you. Oh, and then Scorpio can help you. In this Scorpio season and in this moment of transformation, it's really supportive of you. And I think that Capricorn, I'm still talking to Capricorn. I think that Capricorn has this intensity that can match Pluto and Scorpio's. And so this is really working together. And since you have Scorpio's ruler in your home right now, you may as well go with that and use the gifts while they're there in your space. The gifts and talents. And I'm talking about like taboo subjects, mystery, magic, the occult. I'm also talking about sex. Any of that you've been wanting more of or has been intriguing to you, do follow that urge. Virgo, okay, so the moon, we had some issues with the moon stirring things up for you last week as it was moving through your sign before the new moon in Scorpio. And now what's going on at the beginning of this week is that the moon is in Sagittarius creating a square to your sign. And depending on at which degrees you have planets in Virgo, it'll hit you more today and tomorrow, or, it'll vary. But if you're feeling sort of a stormy moodiness, that's why. And if it's related to travel, particularly limitations related to travel or hoops that you have to jump through, just please give yourself some grace and just understand that it may not be really attractive to be traveling right now. I don't know what that means exactly, but that's the message that came through. Later in the week, look out for authority figures or governmental meltdowns. And I think what you're going to be experiencing is someone in your environment, or even, I feel like it's going to be pretty close to you, that there's something you're going to be able to do that might actually help with the meltdown. Or maybe you'll be cleaning up after the meltdown. Authority figure, it doesn't have to be a political authority figure, but it could be like a boss, a CEO, CFO, a father figure, or if you are partnered with someone who has sort of a paternal feel, maybe you've got daddy issues or something, that it could manifest through that person. Okay, so hang in there. I love you. Bye-bye.